everybody, this is Monica Karaoke, and today I am so fortunate and so blessed to have with me Miss Lucky Litole from West Pokot, and we have a really interesting show today. So Lucky, I'm gonna have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much, Monica, and thank you for having me this evening. First of all, we thank God for this great day that He's given us and the gift for life that He's given all of us. And so, my name is Lucky Litole from Kenya, West Pokot County, county number 024, a county well known as County of Hidden Treasure. Yeah, I work in West Pokot County as a sub-county administrator, senior administrator, whereby we oversee projects both from the national government and also the county government.
Okay.
We participate in public participation, that is like budget processing, where we talk to residents, we guide them through on what to do. And also, we also deal in undertaking mentorship programs. For example, the public office usually conducts mentorship programs on most mentorship programs are specifically talking to students, schools, also women. It's that broad. I'm also one of the board of directors, KPIS, that is Kenya Plant Health Inspection Services, basically promoting good agricultural activities by youth certified seeds and also trading, and this is required by aiding in following regulations like issuing phytosanitary services. I'm also back in my home county. I'm also a board member in one of my local schools called St. Teresa, a day school, mixed primary school, day school, secondary school that is. I'm also part of Conrad Adenauer Foundation, a German-based foundation that creates a platform for mentoring young people, both ladies and men, who are interested in politics and leadership.
Wow.
I joined this in 2017 up to date, and I am one of the few that we are in the network for continuous 5 years. I'm also a passionate person on empowering women and girls and fighting against the reproductive practices happening in my society. So that is simply me, Monica. Thank you.
It sounds like you are very busy.
Yeah,
So
all the good about society.
okay.
Yes.
I'm told volume.
Sorry?
I am told that we need to increase the volume, so let me increase the volume.
Okay.
All right. So can you guys hear Lucky? Lucky, can you say something so they can tell me if they can hear you? I think they can hear me just fine.
Okay. I hope I'm being heard.
Yes, I think so. I think your volume is high now, so okay. All right.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think we're good. So, Lucky, because you have so much that you do, and honestly, we cannot cover all that in one day, in one sitting. So, I'm gonna ask you, what cultural practices infringe on the rights of women, in your opinion?
Thank you very much, Monica. First and foremost, rights for any Kenyan is provided in our Constitution 2010, e.g. rights to live, rights for equity, and others. But again, we have rights that are being infringed. Yeah, in my opinion, that is that affects women and girls and even mothers at this time. One of them that I can mention is FGM. Everybody knows. Sorry?
They're saying a little bit more volume.
On my side or your side?
No, I'll increase it. It's okay. Are we good now, people? I I think it should be good. Okay, go ahead, Lucky. I'll watch it. You go ahead.
Okay. So as I was saying, that despite the fact that we have constitution, like Kenyan Constitution 2010, that provides for the rights of women and girls, but still there are rights that are being infringed. For example, the FGM, female genital mutilation, which is actually an awful practice that is happening. We can also talk about early marriages, yeah, where young girls are being forced to get married.
Okay, that's good.
Not only young early marriages, there are also forced marriages, where once a girl is being circumcised, then they feel like the girl is ready to be married off. We also have rights like wife inheritance that are happening in our community. Yeah, once a lady is widowed, then the community feels like this lady could be young, and they want that lady to be inherited in the same family, because of maybe the dowries that were given at that time, and maintaining that is their wife, they need to keep her there. To me, that is infringing a right, because after maybe the husband is no more, the lady is also given an opportunity to be okay with what he's doing. Also, we have issues with ownership of property.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ownership of property. We find that ladies in our community, a woman is seen as a property of the man, yeah, and that she's not even supposed to own a property, because all the properties are under the name of the husband, that is the man. So at the end of the day, this lady does not even have a right to own any property of any kind, be it a land, yeah, be it a house, even the cattle, everything. So the man becomes the only person, yes, that is now on. To me, that already has infringed the right of that woman. We also have issues to do with succession. The Constitution provides that all children are equal, the male child and the girl child, yeah? That when it comes to succession, the children should be treated equally. But in our community, you find that the boy child is being favored so much, yeah? That they are given the properties, or when they're sharing the property, they share between the male only, the boys only, and the girl is left out. And maybe this girl is not married, now that they think that a woman must always get married so that they can also go and inherit, or rather they can have somewhere to live, yeah, so there's no need of giving them anything from where she was born. Another right that is being infringed is access to education. Back in our communities where I come from, you find that the boy child is being considered as the person who is going to be the breadwinner, the head of the house. So that person has the right, yeah, to be educated so that he can stand for the family. But then the child is left out, not to go to school, because she's just meant to be in the kitchen and to be in the homestead and to give birth to children only and to feed the husband. It is quite, it is happening. Yeah. Yes. Another issue that is being infringed is also leadership. But we thank Kenyan Constitution nowadays that there are some improvements. But when you go back to where I come from, the county I come from, we've never had a woman MP ever since.
Wow.
But now the women rep issue came in, the women representation came in, so it has assisted that at least a woman must be elected in that capacity.
Wow.
Others before then, it was truly hard to elect a woman to lead. It is being believed that a woman belongs to the kitchen. A woman is not supposed to stand before men and talk. That shows disrespecting the men, or even challenging the men, which culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you find that women are being denied that access to leadership just because they are meant to be just there. To me, that is infringing the right of a woman. We are all meant to be leaders. Yeah. So men also should accept that as much as we are good in kitchen, yes, we are also good
In other
outside
things.
there, sitting room
Yes.
and onwards.
Right.
Another thing is also this one. Anybody can weigh it either way, but it is to me like nutrition and health. Some communities, like where I come from, when a cow or a goat is slaughtered, there are some parts of that cow or the goat that a woman is not supposed to consume, even eggs, in that matter. Now, this woman is the one who carries pregnancy, who gives birth. She needs to be fed, yes. But you find that there are some those good parts, yes, that women are not supposed to touch. That is infringing the rights of having good health and good nutrition. Yes, Monica, that's all I can say about that.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So, sometimes because of all those things that you have mentioned, and because of African culture in general, and right now we are just talking about West Pokot, but really generally, when a woman doesn't act like they're supposed to culturally, or the way that the culture expects them to act, they're considered to be defiant, and so men usually turn out beating them as a form of punishment. What would you say about that?
Yes, it happens, Monica. It truly happens, and it is not a good practice at all. To some extent, I agree with you. As it's culturally put where I come from, and even generally, and it applies. You see, West Pokot County, we are neighbors to Turkana, Marakwet, and Uganda. You can imagine, and also Samburu. Yeah, so we share cultures. So you find that even as we might be copying some cultures from our neighbors, which are not good. Now, it is true, when a woman is seen that is not giving, is not respecting the man, is not doing exactly what the man wants, yeah, they are being punished. It truly happens.
And that's domestic violence.
Sorry?
That's domestic violence.
That is domestic violence. Actually, that is fully domestic violence, to be sincere. But then what do we do? Well, actually, that is why we advocate against that. But when you find, when they don't report, because sometimes they don't report such issues, they tend to settle by themselves using the chief. We have the wazir in the area sitting down, see what they can do. They just resolve it in a way that it reoccurs again and again. So it is happening, Monica. It is there.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about FGM. FGM is also part of culture, and you champion against FGM. So generally, how old are the girls that you save from FGM? How old are they?
Monica, if I can go back to history a little bit, in early 1970s and 80s, girls were between 18 years to 20 years that the community actually see that they are mature enough to be married off, they are mature enough to go to be women. Those were the time they would be circumcised. But nowadays, as time goes, they would, now that there's the anti-FGM boards, organizations fighting against FGM, it's being done in a hidden way. It's no longer public. Yeah, they no longer hold ceremonies for such. Not like before then. That's I mentioned 1970s and 80s, where they would do some ceremonies. Yeah, that these girls have been circumcised and are ready to be married off. So now that they are doing it in hiding, that is, you find that between the age of 9 to 13 and the ones being circumcised. And I cannot even call it circumcision, because that is, you see this FGM process practice and the process itself, it's something that that is done awfully. So it is purely mutilation, not even circumcision.
Yeah.
Because the private parts are being tampered with completely. Yeah. So it is basically mutilation because it's not for health purposes, however.
Right.
So you find that it is a child of between 9 years and 13 years. And immediately they are being circumcised. They are given few months, not few months, even few weeks. They get well. That is already a woman, according to my people. Once they are being circumcised, they are ready to be married off. So that is the age that is in between 9 to 13.
Wow.
You can imagine how young such a child is,
So,
and they are doing it not publicly because of the law that is already put in place.
Which means they're being circumcised or mutilated even without anesthesia.
Yeah, and you see with the diseases that are all over nowadays, the HIV, AIDS disease, you find that sometimes they use the same knife to circumcise almost 30 girls, 40 girls. So if maybe one of them is infected, then definitely all the girls get infected.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really, FGM is a topic that is very wide, and it really needs support from each and everyone.
So let me ask you, so what exactly, in your culture, is the significance of circumcision, especially for girls?
Yes, in my culture, if I can, a cultural significance, that is, I can use examples of my home country, back where I come from. As I've told you, we have our neighbors, the Marakwet, the Samburu, the Turkana, Uganda, the Karamoja. FGM then now is associated with cultural ideas of femininity and modesty. They see that once this girl is circumcised, is clean. Yeah.
Wow.
They believe that this girl now is clean. Is considered as a necessity part of raising a girl and way to prepare for adulthood and marriage. So once this girl is circumcised, to them that is already a woman to be married off. And also they see it as a way of reducing the libido of such girls, that they cannot engage in extramarital affairs, sexual affairs and all that. So by circumcising the girl, according to them, is lowering the libido affair. So if I may put it well, I can say that the cultural issues that are being seen as per now, that nowadays they are trying to improve by saying that no, we circumcise our girls because we want them to be clean, we want them to be good wives. Once they are married, they just be with their husbands, which is not the issue. We just tell them no, it's a person by herself. Circumcision may not control somebody by not to have extramarital affairs. Yeah. So that is not the way. That is how they see it, Monica.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So can you talk to us about complications of circumcision?
Yes.
Yeah. Just go over what complications that these girls can go through. I mean immediately, because these girls are being circumcised. And I'm thinking it's not even a doctor circumcising them, right? Is it a doctor?
It's not a doctor. So it's not a doctor.
Yeah, so when it's not even a doctor circumcising them, they're not even under any medical care as they're being circumcised. So immediately, they're at risk for trauma, even bleeding to death. But can you talk to us about other risks that, that come with circumcision?
Thank you, Monica. As you just stated, this circumcision process is never done by a doctor. It's done by an old lady in the community.
Wow.
Yeah? Yes, that's an old lady, and he does it. And they do it not it might not be the same. The other one is extreme. Now, the other complications that come through is actually bleeding. Yeah? Some girls bleed to death. Many girls have lost their lives because of such practice. You find that since there are no anesthesia, they don't know how to handle such bleeding issues. They just leave the girl to bleed to death. And maybe even this girl maybe had some health conditions that we never knew about. So you find that this lady bleeds to death. Another complication that comes through is when giving birth. Yeah, you find that these ladies actually go through awful process when giving birth. Remember that already the private part has been tampered with. It's not as it is created by God. Now you see when giving birth, they're forced to push a baby, and the part itself is already small. So you find that they can tear to death. They can even the baby is supposed to be they can have stillbirth, so they cannot be able to give birth. The child, the unborn baby, the infant I mean, can die during the process. So you find there's also there are some girls these young girls who get pregnant, that is the circumcised one. If they maybe they by good luck they make to the hospitals, that is when they can be assisted, maybe through CS, or even they can be cut so that the baby can come out. So meaning they also get a cut that is big to make the baby come out. That can lead to too much bleeding as well. In some other occasions, you find that there's fistula, where women just pass urine just that way because of the complications created. So it's an awful process, Monica. Our girls die because of such. We lose lives of the unborn babies, of the infants. Yeah, they die during the process. Yes, those are just but few complications that the girls experience. Yes.
So let me ask you, these are complications that you know, and I'm sure people of West Pokot and people elsewhere that practice, circumcision, they already know these complications. Our culture or African culture is supposed to be progressive, you know? So when we see things that are not working for us, we're supposed to drop those things and and just do better so that everyone, can live well. So how do you, as a woman leader, how do you encourage these women to be, self-progressive, to be self-determined themselves and not to rely even on men, and even to get out of circumcision so that they don't go through it? How do you encourage those women?
Yeah, thank you, Monica. When it comes to empowering these ladies not to depend on the men so much, you find that we have different categories of the ladies. We have the young girls, we have women, yeah. We also have those girls who have dropped out of school. We have the old women who went through this, and since we want to empower them to be self to not to rely on the men so much. First, we have programs like Ushanga programs. We introduce to these women. They come together. They do the bidding like these ones I'm wearing,
Okay.
and they sell. Yes. So this keeps them busy and they earn a living. We also have girls who've dropped out of school, and we've tried to get them back to school, but they've not stayed. So in this process, we can introduce them to like light skilled education, like tailoring, yes, like salons. At least after they come out of such places, they can put up business. Or we even get some resources and put up business for them. We they get a living out of it. We also find small girls, yes, who can be taken into some little education, back to school to keep them busy.
Yeah.
So that time goes and they learn much. So then they can also rely on themselves. You see, this exposure of them interacting with other girls, exposing them to other girls, opens up their mind and they share ideas. They even come up with ideas and tell you, Mom, you see, I can be a good person in tailoring and all that. Then we give them a platform for the same. So those are the few I can say.
Okay. But how do you drop the, how do you help them so that they don't drop before they drop out of school? Do you
Sorry?
does let's say, can you hear me?
I cannot hear you, Monica.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Lucky, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I was saying, do you have a program to help them so that they don't drop out of school?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
One, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay, we have programs, we have rescue centers. Yes?
Yeah.
You see, when the schools close, you find that these girls are much exposed and very vulnerable to such exercises. So that will keep them not to fall out of school once schools are closed. When we hear of such cases, we take them to rescue centers. For example, we have a rescue center called Murupus back in my county. It is a secondary school. Then when it closes, when schools close, it acts as a rescue center. So such girls, we put them in such a school, and we keep them busy learning and all that tuition. Yeah, we give food so that it keeps them running for the day. I mean, for the days to go, so that when school opens, they go back to school. Okay. Have I answered it clearly?
Yeah, you're fine. So tell us how underage marriages happen.
Sorry?
Can you talk about underage marriage and forced marriages?
Yes, Monica, I can talk about it.
Okay, tell us about that.
When we talk about underage marriages that are happening, let me start with the underage marriage first, then to the forced marriage. Underage marriages are those that are happening for the girls between 10 to 13 years. Those are the girls, as I told you about, that are already being circumcised, and the parents see that they are ready to be married off.
Yeah.
Just because of getting dowry. You know, when a girl is back in my county, when such young girls get married, cows are being given, yeah, up to
Bricks.
also the ones from Uganda, for course we border them from Uganda. It's really happening. When you talk to the forced marriages, and you see even these about this underage marriage, you find that these girls are being married off to old men as old as 40, 50, yeah, to be even the sixth wife or the seventh wife, yeah, to take care of the man, to cook for the man, and even the first wives, up to the fifth wife, welcome the girl as their co-wife. So it's all about taking care of the man and continuing to give back. Yeah. When we talk to forced marriages, this one we can also bring in the issue of inheritance, because that one can also fall under being forced to get married to another family member just because your husband passed on due maybe to some issues like when they are going for cattle rustling, the husband dies there, because there's still some cattle rustling happening. So women lose their husbands so much. So they're being married off to in the same community to the same brother. To me, that is a forced marriage. And there are some girls who are being forced to get married immediately, even if they are being forced by the parents. And the mothers are expected to convince the girl to get married to this man. If the mother does not convince the girl, then she seems to have failed on her duties.
Wow. So
Yeah.
if she fails on her duties, is she kicked out of the home? Is she kicked out of the community? What happens?
What happens is she's being disciplined.
How?
Yeah?
How?
Being beaten.
Oh my goodness. But the whole
What is happening
community?
is that they usually don't send the duty. I mean, I cannot say the duty. What can I say? Divorce is not happening in our place. Nobody can divorce the wife. Just discipline, beating, being denied to go anywhere, just to be home now. That is disciplining the lady.
Wow.
The mother now who failed to convince the girl to get circumcised so that can get married. If some girls refuse because of these anti-FGM laws that we have, some girls now they are learning their rights through these mentorship programs that we are giving out.
Yeah.
Girls are learning their rights. They refuse. They don't accept that. When they do that, they run away. When they run away, now the mother is left to carry the burden of not convincing the girl to follow what the dad is asking. So, I mean, some women are being beaten to death because of that, of not delivering as a mother. Delivering as a mother is convincing the girl to get married to so and so, to an old man somewhere, or to be forced to get married to, just being forced to anybody in that community.
Do you think poverty has anything to do with it? Are some people so, because of poverty, maybe if their daughters get married, they will get a few cows or, cattle. So they, it has to happen so that they can get out of poverty. Is that part of the problem?
Monica, for sure, poverty has led to so much happening on this marrying of young girls. You get to see that our culture, we believe in having many cattle. So when such a young girl is forced to get married, then the dowry that is being given to the dad is even 30 cows, 40 cows, as I had mentioned.
Wow.
So you find that poverty, and also and remember, we also have drought issues, landslide issues when there are too much waste. Such leads to poverty because you find that a whole center or a whole homestead is being swept away. What do they remain with? Because of the heavy rain, they are being swept. We don't practice agriculture. We don't have. We are not good at that because of our geographical condition.
Yeah.
But little by little, like my county, we promote. Our governor promotes our locals, giving them at least some seeds to plant, maize seeds, to practice farming, so that when they don't have cattle, at least they have food, so that they don't marry off girls. You see, we provide food in schools so that children can be kept in school. That is,
Yeah.
girls can be kept in school. So that is the level of poverty that is there. Yeah, some people don't have shelter. We sponsor when we are going to visit these parents, telling them about taking these girls to school, not marrying them off. We just don't go anyhow.
Yeah.
You need to go with something, food, talk to them well, because it's not an easy task convincing a woman who's undergone the same
So
those days their lives.
yeah, Lucky, in your culture, you're educated, you're doing well in life. Are you seen as a role model?
Sorry?
So in West Pokot, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in West Pokot, because
Yes.
you are a beautiful woman, you're educated, you're doing well, you have a good job. So do these girls see you and look at you as a role model that they would want to be like you?
Thank you very much, Monica. Yes, they see me as a role model. And when we go back to schools, back to villages to talk to these girls, we tell them from where we came from. For example, I am an administrator's daughter. My dad used to be a DO, DC, an AP commandant, then an MP.
Yeah.
Now, my dad's father was a chief.
Okay.
My grandfather educated his children. So when I go back there, I talk to them about, see, my grandfather was a chief.
Yeah.
And he took his girls and sons to school.
Yeah.
And this is the product of my grandfather's son.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Me, I am the product.
Yes.
If my parents would not have taken me to school, would I be like this? That's what I tell them.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Education is important. Being not relying on your husband all the time to be given, to be assisted and all that is important as well. And also providing for your children is even great. Yeah? So we during our mentorship programs, we take ourselves as role models. We also call other ladies who have undergone exactly the same. For me, I've not undergone an FGM, but there are some ladies who have undergone FGM, and they also they're also successful. Those are true testimonies that we present to such girls. That see, these are women who underwent FGM, and even there are some who got married, but then after talking to them, they went back to school and finished the schools. But now what do? We assist them. We give them this issue of raising the child. We tell them your child can stay with your mom for some time and you go back to school. They go back to school, they finish school, and they're successful. So those are the testimonies that when you go back to the community to talk to the girl child, and even the boys anyway, because even what we usually tell the boys, when we talk to the girls alone first, then we compare the boys and the girls. I will tell the boys, see, the key to success is even you, the boy who has it. Why would you pregnant this lady at this time? The early marriages, because once the girl is pregnant, we drop out of school. Yeah. So when you're talking to them, we also talk to the boy child. We care about the boy child as well. But the worst is the girl is the one who undergoes a lot because she has to get circumcised. She's the one who will be going for the clinic. Yeah. So the burden to the girl is too much compared to the boy child. Right. Yeah. So we present ourselves as role models to them, and they appreciate. Yes.
So the boys also get circumcised, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when the boys get circumcised, are they allowed to get married too once they get circumcised?
What a boy, you see, these boys when they get circumcised already, that is a full man to them, ready to get married, ready to marry.
How old is a boy getting circumcised at? How old?
From especially from 14.
So a 14-year-old boy can get married.
That is what is happening. And even they don't know that they are married. They don't know the responsibilities.
Yeah.
So to them, once you're circumcised, you are a full man. You can. That is why you find that they practice polygamy. Yeah. Because these are young boys. They don't know about their. They don't know the responsibilities of being a father.
They don't even have.
Yeah. Any. So they pregnant a girl, and maybe they don't even get married. You know, not all the girls that are being pregnant get married. Yeah. Some girls end up staying at home. So there are issues that come with not all girls that are being circumcised get married. And even these boys that are being circumcised, not all of them become fathers. They just pregnant a girl and they leave. So it's happening.
Okay, yes. So in your culture, if a girl, when they're young, they get pregnant, and then, the boy does not take responsibility or doesn't marry the girl, so can this girl get married somewhere else in the future, or is that the end for that girl? do men in your community agree to marry women that have children?
Now, Monica, that is a complicated affair. What happens? There are some girls. Actually, what they usually tell, especially for the girls who give birth to a girl child, the men do not count the child as a girl child as just a child. They just see the girl child as just a child.
Wow.
They don't see, but a girl who's given birth to a boy child, they feel like this boy will come and inherit so much from my place. So such girls might not get married. But for the lady who's given birth to a girl can easily get married compared to the one who's given birth to a boy. Yeah, because they see this girl as just a girl, no value compared to the boy child. So they can get married occasionally, but most of the girls remain at home.
Wow.
And maybe now continue giving birth with different people because of the promises of support and all, but it happens just like in modern society sometimes.
Yeah. So
yes,
with all these harmful cultural practices weighing down on the community, how would you empower women and girls? How would you do that?
Thank you very much, Monica. First of all, as I've just talked about, is leading by example. By doing that, that is basically empowering a woman. Because if I present myself to them, talk to them, they see a difference that is in me. If I would have remained that village girl and this Lucky that is here now. Another thing is being honest, being open and honest. It's not easy for the vulnerable sometimes to really, the affected persons to really talk to I mean those who are affected. They usually are usually naive on expressing themselves to these girls. But once they open up and be honest, these girls will see that, will see the importance of the same. Also becoming a mentor, keeping girls in school. We talked about the rescue school. Yeah, that basically is a mentoring process.
Yeah.
Keeping the girls in school is very important. Although it needs a lot of resources because they need food. Yeah, they need sanitary towels. You see, our girls, what makes them sometimes not go to school is when they are in their menstrual period.
Yeah.
When they are in their menstrual period, they tend not to go to school because they don't have sanitary towels to use. So they stay at home.
So basically, what you do is you provide what is needed for them to have a normal life.
Yes, for them to have normal life.
Okay, so
yeah.
So let me ask you, some of these things that you just mentioned, for example, providing sanitary towels, like pads, for menstrual periods. Those are things that I've seen, that people in diaspora participate in things like that because people in diaspora, they like to help. So if there's anyone that would like to help, help you reach out to those girls, how can they get in touch with you, and how can they even support you so you can keep on doing what you do?
Thank you very much, Monica. We have an organization that is Pokatusa, called Pokatusa, which cuts between Pokot in Kenya, Pokot in Uganda, that is Karamoja, because I told you that is our boundary, and also Sebei, the Uganda also, and the ones that are near Turkana and Samburu. The little resources we get through this Pokatusa organization, we support our girls and women. You can visit, we have a website of the same, www.pokatusa.org. We have all our details there. And such resources helps us to keep girls in school, provide sanitary towels. We go to an extent of hiring women to take care of children the girls I mean for the children of the girls of the young girls who've given birth, so that they get a chance of going back to school. We also have issues of women who don't have shelters. Those are basic needs that they also need. We also sponsor in building, getting some shelters. You see, we just shelters and a top that is. You find that this woman today they do this for this lady. So we just buy materials and they build a mud houses for themselves. So we sponsor them in such things. So you can reach us through Pokatusa, www.pokatusa.org. All our details can be found there.
Okay.
This is a noble cause that is very sensitive to any community. It is difficult because we also face some risks, when going through such.
Yeah.
You find that we really need to convince this woman why your girl should go to school. You find that you just don't go empty-handed. You need to go with food. You need to go with clothes to talk to these women that this and so that they don't ridicule you away or even chase you away. Sometimes we didn't chase, but we go back slowly by slowly. We get the chief gets us there. We talk to the women. It's a collective responsibility. I just wish to call upon even men themselves to help us in talking to our girls and even men, young boys, not to engage in affairs that might lead to early marriages, early pregnancies, and all that. The good thing is we are getting good support from the national government as well, even our local, county governments for bursaries for some children to go back to some girls to go back to school. But then we need sensitization. So that also requires resources. When sensitizing the sense that there's bursary for children, so you need to register. Some parents are not learning, they don't know what is registration, so they are missing out. It is quite a process that really needs me and you, to talk to any woman around for empowering the girls. Thank you, Monica.
All right. So I don't know. You are obviously a good leader, doing good things in your community. Have you ever thought of, like probably even doing more by even running for office or something? Have you ever thought of that? Has it ever occurred to you?
Yes, Monica, it has. It has truly occurred to me. When I sit down and think of how women, yes, the right of being a leader is being infringed. I truly sit down and think about it. Why not? We are good in kitchen, yes. Can't I be good to lead our people? I can. So it is there. The dream is there, Monica, and it will come true. Could be this 2022, by grace of God.
Okay.
I'd love to be the first women MP in my county. Okay. To keep on empowering the girls, the girl child, even the boy child. The men should not feel like we are so much into the girl. It's only that the girl child is more vulnerable than the boy. And that is why I champion for empowering the woman and the girl child. Yeah. So yes, Monica, the dream is there. It is very alive.
Okay, so
yes.
Lucky, would you tell us that if you ever decide to run for office, you'll come back here and tell us you're running for office so we can even have more questions for you? Would you do that? Would you come back here and tell us?
I will.
Okay.
Definitely I will.
All right, okay. Well,
at the right time, I will come back,
absolutely,
Monica. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for having time to talk to us today and for giving us all that education, and congratulations with everything that you are doing. We are behind you. If there's anyhow we can help you in any way, just let me know and we can reach out to the people that we know and continue helping you so you can continue doing what you're doing. So with everybody else that's watching also, I have been talking to Mrs. Lucky Tole from West Pokot. We've talked about FGM, early marriages, underage marriages, everything, and our culture. So that will be all from me, Miss Tole. And thank you so much. Everybody else that's watching, have a good weekend. Until next time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so we are not on Facebook. Tumemaliza